Is gaming dying? I don't think so. I really don't. This is an opinion that's been regurgitated like countless times for so many years. Like, I feel like I've been seeing this this mentality, this feeling for like at least since like 2018. So it's been at least 7 years of just me witnessing it. I guess I should say I get it. Like, I feel the same way, or I used to feel the exact same way, where it's like, you start getting a bit older and games are just not as magical as they once were. Some of that is just because you are a kid and now you're an adult, and that's just different. You're a different person. You're not as whimsical, probably. You've been a bit more jaded. But I truly don't think the industry is that bad at this point. I think there's enough good where it's like, it's easy for me to focus on the positives of the industry and just look forward to the future instead of just focusing on the bullshit. Like, some stuff is valid for sure. I think AAA games specifically it's a lot more valid to say something like, AAA industry is kind of dying. You could probably argue that, but I think games as a whole, it's just, yeah, you can't. Like, even AAA games, like, we know indie games are great and they can be great. Like, it's to Bronny James. It's like indie games, I think everyone like, a lot of y'all don't play them at all. Like, I've never played any game like that or played it once, which is fine. You don't have to play indie games, but I think when you start complaining about games, movies, or whatever, you have to start looking back. What are you actually watching? Obviously, some of these companies are legitimate. They're just greedy as fuck. They're evil. Some of them straight up are kind of evil companies. Like, it's money above everything. But at a certain point, you have to stop giving them money. You have to stop supporting that game, that community at all. It's like, I'm a big I love sports. I don't know if that would be expected, but I'm a sports nerd. And I love sports games. I love playing 2K. I love Madden. That's not true. But those games are complete fucking disasters. They are a complete exploitation as a game. Every single year, $60, $70 now. Because it's next gen, they added one new fucking guy, and then it's next gen now. We can hold these guys accountable and still recognize that, like, I just need to stop fucking playing 2K. I need to stop playing Madden, because that's contributing to that. So, like, you see a lot of guys who just play COD, they just play Madden, they just play 2K, whatever, and they're being like, gaming sucks now, and it's like, you gotta fucking expand your horizons a little bit, You don't have to, like, become a platform gamer or something, but, like, because I remember feeling that feeling, or the feeling I'm talking about right now, where you feel like you've kind of outgrown it almost, and you can't have those, like, great experiences or great memories with it anymore. I don't think that's true. I have two examples. One, I remember I had never played a horror game. I got interested. I played the demo for Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, and it captivated me. Like, I was terrified because I'd never played a horror game before. I was fucking terrified. But it was so rewarding to get through that. It was the demo. I was terrified of the demo. It was like I was bungee jumping for the first time a little bit or something. It was like you're doing something like, oh my god, can I do this? And I know it's like fucking Resident Evil, but it was awesome. And I'll cherish that forever. And that was recently, like within the last 5 years or something, where I remember feeling like that before I had that experience. Lately, Lethal Company came out like 6 months ago. I know it's not like super cool now, but that game came out of nowhere, and I played that with my friends every day for like 2 weeks when that dropped.
Yo, Aiden, you're up. Spider. Yeah, it's over. You can probably see it.
Don't worry, guys. I got this in the bag.
Bro, I am not jumping over there, asshole.
Classic memories from that game and playing with my friends when I was fucking 19. So it's like, I just think at a certain point it is up to you to start making new memories, start playing new experiences. You're not going to be able to recreate how you felt as a kid. So stop trying to recreate old memories and make new ones with new games, with new experiences. It's fucking awesome. I only played open world games. I only played GTA type games. If you could have a car and you could fucking hit people with it, I played it. And then I started kind of branching out a little bit. I played a card game. I was like, why the fuck did you play a card game video game? It's a fucking card game. But it was awesome. It's called Inscryption. Another thing I heavily recommend. It was awesome. I would have never done that before. I would have never even thought to play a game like that. But I did, and it felt rewarding. it's really easy to let nostalgia, and like what I just said, I don't mean it as like an insult or anything. Like, we all have nostalgia. I have nostalgia. And yeah, when I go back as an adult and play them, it's not the same. Some games don't make me feel the same way fucking Minecraft made me feel in 2011. But that's okay. You know, I don't need to feel that. I can feel something else. I can try something else. It also, nostalgia is fucking fake as shit a lot of the time. Like, that feeling you feel there is like, you didn't feel like that as a kid. Or like you were carefree, you were worry-free, but the joy in the kind of memory you feel when you look at like Minecraft or some nostalgic thing, you were just a kid, you weren't really thinking about it. Like, we think that these nostalgic moments were like, just like the most perfect situation, and it's like, if it's kind of just whatever, because you were happy. You don't have to be playing games that are amazing, you were happy as a kid. Probably, maybe. I hope so. I think overall nostalgia, like, it does kind of, you know, we can look at old stuff with, you know, a bit higher regard than maybe it deserves because, you know, we were there when it came out. But it's also like, there's a lot of games nobody would understand the impact that they had after they came out. So I get it. Like, I completely understand. Like Halo, people talk about that like it was like amazing. This is the greatest thing ever happened to gaming. You know, I wasn't really there to experience it, but like, that's awesome. And I get that. So I'm not saying nostalgia is dumb, but it can kind of make you think it was better than anything that could possibly exist. Like, just because it happened first doesn't mean it was better. There are games right now that are coming out in the last couple of years that people think might be the greatest game of all time. Some people have argued that Elden Ring is the greatest game of all time. I wouldn't argue that, because I have some mixed feelings on Elden Ring, but that's alright. Nostalgia not only props up games that you loved that, you know, may have deserved it, but it also kind of makes you forget about everything else. You usually don't feel nostalgic for like terrible shit happening. You kind of remember the good shit, and that's great, but I think a lot of people don't think about it like that. They don't treat it like that. And bad games have released, bad launches have been around forever. You don't remember, like Anthem, you might remember that was 2019. Maybe not in terms of scale, but in terms of just being a terrible release. Fucking E.T. That was like a historically terrible release. People say that's like the worst game of all time. I don't know what I'm trying to say here necessarily with the worst being at the start and best. If you can even argue that the best game of all time came out 2 years ago, to act as if gaming is dying, even on that by itself, is like God of War Ragnarok, Elden Ring, fucking look at 2023. God damn, what a year for gaming. It was one of the best ever. And that's when I really knew that when people said shit like this, they didn't mean it. Or like, they just didn't know what they were talking about. They didn't play enough games. Literally last year was amazing. Now, if you have like a personal, you just don't like playing video games, I get it, bro. You grow up, your tastes change, what you like doing changes, your priorities change. But to use your personal like subjectivity about it to make statements that are like gaming as a whole, this whole thing, it's dying because I can't play Halo fucking 3 with my friends again. But I also think there are some very valid things to be said about modern gaming. Like, monetization is fucking awful. Like the commonplace of microtransactions. Every big game basically has microtransactions now, which I get, I understand, because that shit makes a lot of money. But I get why people are annoyed by that. I'm fucking annoyed by it. Maybe games aren't as pure anymore. Like, they're more corrupted. It's a more greedy industry overall. But I don't even know if that's true. I think it's more just like gaming is bigger than it's ever been. And it keeps getting bigger. You're just gonna have more shit on the market. More people are trying to do things. And when gaming makes as much fucking money as it does, people are gonna try to exploit it. And I think in that way, you could argue, yeah, it is worse. But, I mean, to be fair, we have every game available. If you want to go play any fucking old game, basically, you might have to emulate some of them, but makes it seem like it's a bad time to be a fan of games. And I just don't, I don't believe that. I think it's so subjective how most people talk about it. It's so personal to them, which is valid as your personal opinion or your relationship with like games or whatever. But as a actual industry, I don't get it. If you think about it, it's not that bad. There's so many good games coming out, and it just gets annoying seeing it every year where people are like, oh, gaming sucks now. Play more games, straight up. And that's not me I'm not even trying to be like an asshole saying that. I used to be that guy. Like, I get it. I get where y'all at. But seriously, y'all just need to play more games. That's it, like straight up. If there's any game you've ever thought that was interesting to you, you should try it. I mean, like, that shit's awesome. That's cool. It's fun. I encourage that. I guess that's what I'm, if anyone takes anything out of this video, try shit that you've never tried before. You don't like puzzle games? You've never tried a puzzle game? Try it. You might fall in love with it. Learn to start games. Give games a fair shot, too. Don't just quit after, like, 30 minutes. Because sometimes games don't catch your attention until, like, 2 hours in, which is fair to not want to play it for 2 hours without feeling anything. It's just a silly argument most of the time. It's just a feeling. Like, people don't feel like playing games anymore. And they try and, kind of twist reality into making that seem more valid, I guess. But it ultimately is just, if you're optimistic or you're pessimistic. You can take a perspective out of the industry either way, but